Hey guys, here's some thoughts that I wanted to share on this Red Right Hand by Levi Black. This is a rather dark, gory, over-the-top Lovecraftian horror story, beginning with a woman named Charlie who's just come back from a not-so-great evening, about to have an even worse night than she could have ever imagined. She's attacked almost immediately by these vicious, dark, devilish dogs, and almost as quickly saved by a mysterious man in black with a sword in his red right hand, and he protects Charlie, but only in order to make her his acolyte. He's got a few things to take care of in our world, him being, like the dogs, magical himself, and her apparently being a descendant of the writer H.P. Lovecraft. What her own magic, or any of the magic that anyone has in this, does is fairly vague and left up to the circumstances in which she needs to use it. Those of this mysterious god's world are slipping through the cracks of magic that have held them off from us for so long. The man in black supposedly intends to stop this and needs Charlie's help. To make matters worse for Charlie, who absolutely wants nothing to do with this, her friend, or boyfriend, sort of, Daniel, is brought along far too willingly for her liking. While she's got the magic in her thanks to being a part of the H.P. Lovecraft bloodline, Daniel is one whose ancestors worship the Man in Black, therefore he worships and follows the god without questioning anything the Man in Black says or does. And this thing, while fairly cliche in its premise, does sound initially like it might be at least a fun adventure, but no, not really. This is some crazy stuff with a bleak and thoroughly full dark landscape, set both within the places these characters magically transport to and within the characters themselves. Unfortunately, that just doesn't lend itself well to the story. Levi Black's writing just takes itself way too seriously. Though there are many failed attempts at dripping in some humor here and there, it just reeks of trying too hard. If it's not describing some gory, messy, demonic thing happening at the time, which is what 80% of the words in this are, then it's going over the same thoughts, feelings, actions, and dialogue that have happened since the book's opening. It's the same rehashed, repetitive character dilemma and series of events over and over again, told in slightly different ways, as if the author thought of some new way to bash us over the head with a certain something and needed to fill up the space with it. And that's just what this book was the whole time, a couple of barely fleshed out characters led around by a demonic figure with only a couple of conflicting personality traits. Charlie is constantly being reminded of this one night, written in deep dark letters all over everything that she is, that I couldn't tell whether it was supposed to be something that was supposed to be a big reveal. Like, it's obvious immediately what happened that night and what's affected her so much, yet it's treated with this weird pseudo-secrecy that just makes her seem like the caricature of the person that this horrible thing happened to. She's strong and she's independent, I'll definitely give her that, and she's easily the only character with any sort of anything behind her, but she's ruined completely by the plot she's thrown into and by the writing. Not only that, but then there's this weird thing with Daniel. He's absolutely not characterized in any way, and neither is their relationship, but all of a sudden they begin to bond over the dead corpses left in their wake and become entangled in this love story that just seems both out of place for the plot and out of place for the characters and completely forced. It would have been so much better had we actually gotten a glimpse through flashbacks or a different beginning, or a just more solidified succession of interactions between the two of their pre-existing relationship, which we really don't get any of. Instead, Charlie is a broken bobblehead of a character, and Daniel is a wet puppy with way less personality. It's unfortunate at best. The best thing going for this book is its tone, which is almost always consistent, other than the awkward love story thrown in for the sake of it, and for the fact that the book barely has a real sense of rise and fall in the conflict, and a dud of a climax that belittles one of H.P. Lovecraft's most loved characters. The tone really sets off a certain mood that is reflected in everything that happens. The writing itself really is as purple as a fresh, full-bodied bruise, but its tone is steadfast, and if you do tend to like that sort of gritty, gory, bloody, dark adventure kind of story, this might be something you'd want to try. Otherwise, I doubt you'd get too much out of it. I'm disappointed that I just didn't get anything out of this, but that's just how I felt the whole way through. I kept looking for substance or merit, and found none, unfortunately. If you've read this, I'd love to hear what you thought about it, whether you agree or disagree, and especially if you're still interested in picking it up, because, hey, this is just my opinion, and maybe all of that sounds awesome to you. Anyway, I did receive this book from Tor, and I appreciate the opportunity to read it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later with more.